It's only been a couple days since we last filmed. Zach and I really wanted to make sure we got 2 episodes out this week, so here we are. Welcome to episode 25 of A to Z Sports Talk. It should be a shorter episode, but we'll see if Zach has some crazy things to say today. Who knows? With that being said, with that being said, we have our list of the top 10 second basemen, our reactions to the 2 NHL Conference Finals games that happened, our reactions to Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and then to finish up, we'll give our predictions for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't feel like I need to ask this because I saw you last night, but you've been doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good since the 10 hours since I last saw you.
Yeah.
And a day since our last episode, last time we recorded. So yeah, doing completely fine. Have you been?
Pretty good.
Slept good?
Yeah, I slept good. You got a busy night tonight, seems like.
Yeah, I did. Little engagement party action going tonight, so that should be fun. Yeah, a lot of people will be there. Get to eat a lot. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's always good. You have any? Did you see it?
I do. First, did you see it? Is Ryan Fitzpatrick retired after 17 seasons
with 18 different teams?
Yes, Fitzmagic is no longer. He's the best. Then also, it is National Donut Day, and a chocolate long john for you.
See, my favorite dessert is donuts, actually. So
consider donuts a dessert. I guess it is a dessert.
What do you count it as?
I don't know, breakfast, pastry.
We're gonna be chowing down on donuts in this episode then.
Thank you, Donut Palace. Did you see it?
I did not. Shocker.
Classic.
But I guess we can get going with our top 10 second baseman unless you have anything else.
Let's do it.
So I had a couple honorable mentions. I had Jeff McNeil's honorable mention for the Mets, Gene Segura for the Phillies, Jonathan India for the Reds, Colton Wong for the Brewers, former Cardinal, and then Jake Cronenworth. I'm not a Cronenworth fan. I think he's a little overrated. Because I think he was an all-star last year. I'm pretty sure. So
he did a solid year last year.
Did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I have Gene Segura, Jonathan India, and Jazz Chisholm, who AJ has high on his list because he's not that smart.
So do you want to start with the 10 or do you want me?
You go this time.
So my number 10 was Cattell Marte. I know you're really high on Cattell, but so this year, 2 homers, 12 RBIs, batting .263, 739 OPS. I think for me is that he can't stay healthy. I think he's had 1 year of 149 games or 150 games.
He's had 2 years.
Okay.
He played 153, 144, then the COVID year. So he played basically all the COVID. Then last year he was hurt at the beginning of the year and played 90. So kind of pretty durable. That's it.
Yeah, I guess it's more durable than I thought. Every time I look at the stats, I forget about the COVID year. So I just see the number 58 or whatever. I'm like, oh, he was hurt. But
yeah, they need to put highlighted COVID.
Yeah. And I feel like we say this for every position, but it was deeper than I thought it was going to be. I thought there was a couple big names, but before we filmed, we were finishing our list and we were pulling names out of left field. So
pulling names out of our butt. Yeah, he's pretty high on there.
Yeah. So Marte was my number 10. But who do you have? Caught you mid bite.
I have the Crone Zone. Let me make sure though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Jake Cronenworth. AJ had him on his honorable mention. For me, it's between him and Jonathan India for number 10. They had literally identical stats last year. He hit 21 home runs, had 71 RBIs, and really his first full season, 266 batting average, 340 on base. But the big difference is he had positive defensive runs saved, and I think second base, you got to be solid defender. He had, I think, 5 defensive runs saved. I think that was a big
Cronenworth.
Yeah, Cronenworth. That's why he got on my list over Jonathan India, and I think he's going to be solid. I don't think he's going to be lighting it up all the time, but
he can play all over the place.
Yeah, he's very versatile. He's not having a great start to the year this year. He's batting .206, but I think he'll get up to that 250-ish range and be a solid second baseman for a pretty long time. He is 28 already, though, so he's kind of old.
I didn't know that.
But I didn't know that until I just looked at his age, so that kind of surprised me. But I think he'll be fine.
I would also like to mention before we move on that I believe we both would agree that Jonathan India will be on our list moving forward. Probably he just had that rookie year. Yeah, again mid-fight.
See,
But my number 9 was DJ Lamechu. He was a guy we were trying to decide where to put him at because he plays a lot of third. He played first before Rizzo was there in New York. But for me, he's just proven himself over the years. This year, 4 homers, 20 RBIs, batting 252 with a 722 OPS. What were his stats these prior years, though? He had some crazy averages.
Last year, he was not up to his standards. He played 150 games, only hit 10 homers and had 57 RBIs, had a 268. The COVID year, he batted 364, had 421 on base, third in MVP voting. And in that COVID year, in 50 games, he had 10 home runs and 27 RBIs. So last year was not that great for him.
No.
The year before, he batted 327, 375 on base, hit 26 home runs, 102 RBIs, was fourth in MVP voting. The year before that, his last year in Colorado, he batted 276, had 15 homers, 62 RBIs, and he has won 3 Gold Gloves, and he's my number 9 too.
Okay.
So we can just kind of set everything. He's just super reliable, consistent.
Where did he get the Gold Gloves at? Was it? Does it say?
Because second,
So
because he played exclusively at second in Colorado.
And he's also the tallest second baseman of all time, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah, he is 6'4".
I think that's the tallest ever because Matt Carpenter was the second tallest ever.
Really?
Huh. So he was your number 9 as well?
Yeah,
DJ was. My
super
number
consistent.
8 was Whit Merrifield.
Same.
Okay, good start. Whit this year has really dropped off, and I think last year too he had dropped off.
Not last year.
What, did he have a good year last year?
He batted 277. His on-base percentage wasn't high, 317. He led the AL in doubles, 42.
Okay.
Had 10 homers, 74 RBIs, and led them in. He had 40 steals. He played every single game, led the AL in at bats. Yeah, so pretty solid.
Yeah, I was wrong there.
Yeah,
this year, 3 homers, 24 RBIs, batting 212 with a really bad OPS of 560. And what is he now? 32, 33?
33.
That's what worries me, and that's why I probably had him lower on the list.
Yeah.
Is that if we're going off, if that's the criteria we're going off of, is who we would want right now. That's why he's lower on my list, because he is older, and these guys above him are all younger and more spry, I would say.
And if they're the same age, they just are probably a little better overall.
Yeah.
But he had some really good years.
Oh yeah.
2018 he had 45 steals. Then 2019 he had 16 homers, 74 RBIs, batted 302. He's very consistent and very durable. He played in 2019. He played actually the last 3 seasons. He hasn't missed a game.
Mm-hmm.
He played every game in 2019, every game in the COVID. Didn't get the COVID. And played every game last year. And I don't know if he's played every game this year. I don't know how many games they've played, but
yeah,
he's not doing too great this year, but he'll pick it up.
Yeah. I went to a game in KC last year, and I don't remember how many games it was in a row for him, but it was some kind of Royals record.
Yeah,
and we honored him.
And he's very he can play anywhere.
Yeah, center field, right field.
Like this shows positions on like the positions you play in Baseball Reference, and it's basically like every number, except like pitcher and catcher.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. My number 7 was Tommy Edmond. Was that yours?
No.
Okay. This year, Tommy, I mean, really could probably be higher if he does this another year or two. This year, 4 homers, 22 RBIs, batting 272 with a 756 OPS, and 12 stolen bases? Something like that.
Yeah, 12.
Which is top 5 in
30
baseball.
last year.
Yeah. So also a Gold Glove now to his name, which I personally did not expect him to be that great defensively.
Really?
I thought we would have a drop off defensively from Colton Wong, but
He's been better than Colton Wong in every single category.
he really has.
I stand by that.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. But I think whenever we let Wong go, I did not think he would do this. I didn't think he would fill into that role really well, but definitely could be higher. And I know some people probably have him lower, but we're Cardinals fans and we see him all the time. But
we're biased.
Yeah. Tommy was my number 7.
My number 7 was Jorge Polanco. He's just a offensive beast. I would say it's second base. He had 33 home runs last year and 98 RBIs, which is pretty crazy for a second baseman. And then COVID year, he hit 258, 304 average, which is not amazing. And then in 2019, he was an all-star, hit 295, 356 on base, 22 home runs and 79 RBIs. And that's probably his best year, like batting average on base and home runs and RBIs. And he was 13th in MVP voting. I was between, like, Tommy Edmonds is my 6. I was between him. I was deciding who should I put over who. And one big deciding factor is Jorge Polanco is not as good as defensively as Tommy Edmond.
Yeah.
And he has 13.6 WAR, and he's played 9 years. Tommy Edmond has 11.6, and he's played 4.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a big measuring. They used a measuring stick, I guess, of MLB players now. So that was a big factor in where he is now. But I'd take him on my team.
Jorge was 7.
Yes. Good DH.
And then your number 6 was Tommy, you said?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Tommy?
Beast.
Yeah.
He's obviously an amazing defender, very durable. And what I was telling AJ is his offense wasn't amazing last year. If his offense would just be a little better, you'd be top 5, top 3, maybe.
What was his average also? 250?
262, 308 on base. So
yeah,
he only walked 38 times last year in 159 games. This year through 50, he's walked 19 times. So almost half of that, which is really good to see. Or literally that is half of it. Yeah.
For a while he had more walks than strikeouts, I think was the stat.
He struck out 34 times too so far, which is pretty good compared to, and he didn't strike out. He only struck out 95 times last year, which I'm a big person on. If you have 2 strikes, it's better to put the ball in play than
especially as your leadoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so his on base percentage is at 347 right now, and he has a 272 batting average. So hopefully he keeps kind of that range, maybe raise it a little bit.
And he still has time to improve. Is he 25, 26?
27.
Oh, 27. Okay. But yeah, still time to improve.
And he's super, you can play him anywhere.
Oh,
he's been playing short now, but we put him on our second base list.
Yeah. Hopefully Gorman's on this list in the near future. My number 6 was
What do you mean? He is on my list.
My number 6 was Brandon Lowe. I think it's Lau. 5 homers, 12 RBIs this year, batting 212 with 708 OPS. But last year, 39 homers, 99 RBIs, batted like 250.
You know what his nickname is on Baseball Reference?
What's that?
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. Well, Bam Bam had a tremendous season last year, and before that, hadn't really played a whole lot of games.
He's young. I didn't realize he was that young.
But you can't not have a guy who hits 40 homers at the second base spot not on your list. So he's at my number 6, and I guess I don't really have much more to say about him. If he continues in that direction, does something like that this year, he could be higher. But definitely because it's just that 1 year, he could move lower as well.
Yes.
But you already said your number 6. My number 5 was Jorge Polanco. Now, before we started this, I didn't have Jorge on my list. I forgot about him.
Yes.
You talked me into it, and then I put him higher. But Jorge this year, average is down. He's got 5 homers, 26 RBIs, batting 224, 670 OPS. But these last 3 or 4 years,
he'll raise it.
Has been one of the best second basemen in baseball.
Oh, for sure.
You already read off all his stats in the past years, but it's been since 2018 that he's been doing this. 2019 was his
2019
first full year.
Or he was solid in 2017. He had a good year. And then he got hurt 2018. He only played 77 games, but he's been solid the last since then.
Yeah. So definitely a mainstay in that Twins lineup and a rebuilding team that is doing very well this year. And then where are we at?
5. He's 5.
He's my 5.
My number 5 is Aussie Albies. I think he could be in the coming years. He could be the best second baseman in baseball.
Who is at the top of your list?
I'll say it. I think Aussie Albies could be the best second baseman in a couple of years. He's really good. He's a good defender. I just kind of put him. He's had great offensive seasons, but I don't like that his on base percentage is so low, and his OPS is for a guy who had 30 home runs, well, last year was like 800, but I think if he could just put his average a little higher and on base, he'd be like even like insane.
Mhm.
But last year, I think I would call it was his best year.
Yeah.
He had 30 home runs, 106 RBIs, batted 259, 310 on base, and helped them win a world championship and was an all-star at 24. At 21, he hit 24 home runs, 72 RBIs, 261, 305 on base. And then at 22, he hit 24 home runs, 86 RBIs,
Yeah.
295, 352 on base. And the sky's the limit for him. He's incredible. He does it all.
Could win a Gold Glove.
Yes, he's a very good defensive player. If I go to the fielding, yeah, he's had positive defensive runs saved every year except 2020, the COVID year.
Do you have his contract on there? Can you see that? Because I think
It's really long.
It's really long, but I think it's really reasonable. They got him and Acuna locked up for a long time.
Yeah,
I want to say it was 8 to 10 years, and like
Yeah.
not bad money wise.
No, the Atlanta kind of got a steal.
They did with both of them.
Yes, I would agree. He actually
Um,
led the league in hits in 2019.
Is he only 25 then?
Yeah, he's 25 right now.
Wow. Yeah,
I really think he could be the best second baseman.
definitely, especially in these next 2 years when Altuve probably declines.
Yes.
He could definitely be up there. My number 4 was Marcus Simeon. Now, Simeon's had an awful year this year, and until this last week, he had 0 homers and like 7 RBIs, and just a atrocious year so far. He does have 18 RBIs now, only 2 homers, batting 194, a 539 OPS, which is awful. But last year was a top 3 MVP.
Yep.
46 homers, something like that.
45, 102 RBIs.
That's insane. Yeah. So, and he's done not to that extent, but he's had those type of numbers the last few years in Oakland.
Mhm.
Last year was in Toronto. Now he's in Texas. So maybe as the weather heats up, the ball starts
Yeah.
flying more for him. But
Just kind of after getting to hit a little bit, maybe he'll
Yeah.
just be not as stressed he's probably just trying to what's the word? Push the limit, try to live up to the expectations.
kind of like Anato did here.
Yes.
But did he win a Gold Glove last year?
Yeah, he did.
So
All-star, top 3 MVP, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger.
when he was at shortstop in Oakland, he was awful defensively. Look at some of those error numbers. There was one year where he had, I swear he had 30 plus errors. It
Yeah,
was,
2015 he had 35 errors.
yeah, that's
Then he really brought it down.
Yeah.
In 2019, he only had 12.
at shortstop.
Yeah, 2017 he only had 9. Yeah.
Well, they moved him to second base, and he's a Gold Glove
Yeah.
type guy there. A lot of his mistakes were throwing mistakes. And I actually know from personal experience, like shortstop for me was not. I played it because we needed me there, but because we didn't have like a bunch of guys. But
You have a noodle arm?
I have a noodle arm. I do. Because at second base, I was really successful. So I kind of feel me and Marcus are kind of the same there. But
You're similar.
who's your number 4?
I had Cattell Marte, who you had
Wow.
way down at the list.
Wow.
And I know you looked at his stats and you're probably like, oh, he only had 14 home runs, had 50 RBIs. He batted 318, 377 on base. He did that in 90 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. And he was injured at the beginning of the year. Then he just came on and was on a tear. And he's on the Diamondbacks, so no one really kind of thinks about that. But the COVID year, he didn't play amazing. He hit 287, though, 323 on base. Just didn't have a lot of homers and RBIs, but you're playing on the Diamondbacks.
Mhm.
And then in 2019, at 25, he hit 32 home runs, 92 RBIs, batted 329, and had a 389 on base, which is incredible for me.
Yeah.
Incredible to me. And he was 4th in MVP voting. And I just think now that he's healthy, he's batting 263 right now. 2 homers, 16 RBIs. And he has a 333 on base, which is I think is good. I think his average is only going to rise. I think he's going to have another good year. I just think he's really good.
He's one of those guys in the Diamondbacks team that I think will start to decline as the
Yeah.
season goes on because they've over.
I think people are going to decline. He's just going to keep.
Yeah, and
going
I think
up.
he's going to be if they because they're overachieving right now. If
Mhm.
they go down, which a lot of people expect, I think he will be a big trade piece that people
Yeah.
want at the
I-
deadline.
before, like a couple of years ago when we were kind of needing, because he can play center outfield too.
Yeah.
He played a lot of center field last year, I believe.
Yep, he did.
And when we were kind of a couple years ago, I was like, maybe we should trade for Cattell Marte. I'd love that. I think it did on MLB The Show.
How old is he now? 27?
He's 28.
28?
He must have just turned 28. Let's see when his birthday is. I think he was born in October. So
yeah, I'm not mad with you having him at 4. I did have him at 10, but
like I know a lot of people probably have Aussie higher, but
I have Aussie higher, yeah. But let's get to my number 3 here, where things might get a little heated. I have Jazz Chisholm Jr. at number 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't. He doesn't have the track record or the past experience that these other guys have.
He's played 184 games.
But our criteria is guys I would want right now, and Jazz this year alone is having an MVP type year. Until recently, his average has dropped off, but I have him on fantasy and he's killing it. But he was batting 290 at one point. Right now it's 268.
At one point. That's the key word. At one point.
8 homers, 31 RBIs. And I think that what impresses me is that he's batting leadoff or second over there from Miami. And he's getting all these RBIs and not a very good lineup. So an 865 OPS. Besides possibly Altuve, you could say Jazz, he has an argument to be the best second baseman this year so far. And how old is he?
That's a stupid take.
He's
that? 24. No.
I think he's.
You'd say he's the best second baseman
this year
in the major leagues.
This for 2022 season.
Oh,
he's had the best season of all the second basemen, arguably. I would probably still pick Altuve. And we'll get to Altuve, unless you don't have Altuve on your list or something crazy.
No, he's not on my list.
But no, Jazz. How old did you say he was?
24.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be the best second baseman in baseball at some point. He's got tremendous speed, kind of an erratic arm, a little bit, kind of crazy, but because he tries to do too much sometimes. I think we talked about that with Tatis a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of gives me those vibes. He did that. He pimped that homer against the Cardinals earlier that I found disrespectful to the ump because he kind of looked back at him and stuff like that. But definitely a stylish guy. Always has blue or green hair, and I do like the style guys. So he's number 3 on my list.
He's also a career so far in his career he's batting 245 and 302 on base.
Yeah.
Best second baseman for sure. So my number 3, which makes more sense, is Brandon Lau. The past 2 years, he's been top 10 MVP voting. In the COVID year, he had 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, batted 269, 362 on base in 56 games, which is pretty dang good. And then last year, as we talked earlier, he had 39 homers, 99 RBIs, so close to 40 and 100, which would have looked really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the year before that, which was technically his rookie year, he was 24. He got an all-star. He batted 270 at 336 on base, 17 homers, 51 RBIs. And he came up in the middle of that year because he only played 82 games. So he's really young, and he's been very consistent, very durable. And he looks like he can play a lot of different positions as well. And
I think I forgot about him on the second base because I see him at third all the time, and
his average is not as high, but his on base is up there. He has a good batting eye, and I think he's gonna. I know he's off to a struggling start right now, but I think he'll pick it up.
Yeah. We're at 2, right?
Let's see.
My number 2 is Aussie Albies. 6 homers, 22 RBIs this year, 251 average, 699 OPS. Kind of in an underachieving year for the Braves as a whole.
Yeah. And
that might just be because they're worn out and tired from that long run last year of winning it all. But like you mentioned with Ozzy, I don't have to say a whole lot about him. He's what did you say, 24, 25? 25. And he's a guy that definitely could be number 1 as soon as the next year or two. He's only about 251, like I said, this year, but I think that'll get to
his averages that's kind of where his normal average was last year.
But the power is crazy out of that spot. Great defense and great speed. How many stolen bases this year so far?
3.
Oh, 3. All right. Well, he is a speedy guy, believe it or not. But no, I'm really high on Ozzy. I see all his like trainings that I don't know if you've seen him, the trainings that he does like before games with Ron Washington.
Where he's on his knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes it very seriously.
Yeah,
And
if you're an infielder, look at those videos.
Yeah, his hand-eye, and you got to respect it. But Ozzy was my number 2.
My number 2 was Marcus Simeon. I know he's having a bad year this year. I think that's why he was a little lower on AJ's list. But you can't ignore the fact that in the past 3 years, he was top 3 in MVP voting.
Mm-hmm.
His last year in Oakland, he had 33 homers, 92 RBIs, batted .285, and it had .369 on base, which is incredible. He walked 87 times that year and struck out 102. So he almost had more walks than strikeouts. Then last year, 45 homers, 102 RBIs, just blasted the ball. And hopefully he can get back to his normal self in Texas because he was kind of fun to watch last year. And he won the Gold Glove.
Him and Seager both have underperformed. We talked about Seager last episode, and I think they're both kind of – those were the two big signings. Yeah. I think they're kind of pushing it a little bit.
But, like, you just got to reward him for how good he has been. And like last year was his first time being an all-star, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He must just be really good at having good second halves. And if you look at his other like past hitting stats, he's been pretty consistent and he's been really durable. He played every game last year and in 2019.
I think what I'm seeing with these position rankings is that besides I did center field by myself, that was the episode I did by myself. Yeah. Besides that, which obviously Trout's the best, there's a lot of like toss-ups here.
I agree.
And so my number 1 and your number 1 was Jose Altuve.
What?
and I think most everyone would have Jose number 1. Some people, if you're going off just last year, Marcus Simeon is obviously number 1.
Yeah.
Most people would have Jose number 1, but you could make an argument for a lot of people once again. Like we did with third base and left field and right field, you can make an argument for different people.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players, second baseman.
For me, Jose is still, and I lost a lot of respect after the whole scandal came out.
Yeah,
I was actually a big fan. He's like 5'4", and
he's 5'6", 166 pounds.
Yeah, so
and he had 31 home runs last year.
It's ridiculous. He keeps pulling it over those Crawford boxes in Houston, but. He has 10 homers, 16 RBIs, 279 average, 884 OPS so far this year. I don't have his stolen bases written down, but
2.
Okay.
He's not stealing as many bases as he used to.
As he gets older, yeah. And then how many years has he played?
12.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a big thing for me is just he's still producing and he's got that track record.
Almost to 2,000 hits. He's at 1,800.
Do you think he can get 3,000? It's gonna be close. I mean, he's just getting older.
Yeah, he's by far the best hitter. Like 4 years in a row, he led the league in hitting. But I had him number 1 as well. But last year, you really didn't. I don't think I really heard of Altuve. I'm like, oh, he must not have played that good. Oh no, he just hit 31 home runs, 83 RBIs.
Yeah,
278, batting average, 350 on base, and he's never struck out more than 100 times.
That's insane.
Last year was his highest. He struck out 91 times, and that was his highest.
How many Gold Gloves does he have also?
He only has 1.
1.
Yeah.
He is a tremendous defensive player.
And he's an MVP.
Yeah.
He had like this 5-year stretch where he was incredible. And I don't even know how he wasn't MVP candidate in 2019. He hit 31 homers, 74 RBIs, 298 batting average. He's been super consistent. His career batting average is 307.
Wow.
360 on base career in 12 years, which is
in an era where
it's incredible.
In an era where it's power or nothing.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
1 year he stole 56 bases.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy how he went in the beginning of his career. Like he was 24 when he stole 56 bases. He batted 341, hit only 77 home runs, 59 RBIs, and now he's hitting 30-some home runs a year. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then the year he won MVP was he batted 346, hit 24 home runs and 81 RBIs. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Like, yes, he had the help of a trash can, but
yeah. Like I said, I definitely lost respect for him because I was definitely a big Altuve fan. I just respect how he played the game, and then that happened, so I lost respect. But
yeah, I agree.
I think the majority of people would have him number one
Yeah.
on their
I
list.
think if you were going into this, if we did this going into the season, it'd be Marcus Simeon.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't.
Definitely.
Would you
And-
still have had Jazz way up on your
So
list?
so I'm looking at it, and I'm going to keep it because
I don't even know if I would have had Tom. Would you have Tom? Tommy Edmond would have been way lower.
yeah,
I think.
Tommy would have been 9 or 10 probably.
Yeah.
But our criteria is like including now, but also
Yeah.
past. So and I would say also future is what we're kind of looking at.
Yeah.
So I would not be like, as I'm looking at my list now, I would have Marcus Simeon over Jazz, but I'm going to keep it because I think the Jazz take I have will age like well. I
gracefully.
yeah, I don't think it's going to age badly where
Age like fine red wine.
yeah, where I think Jazz is going to be a tremendous player moving forward. So I'm going to keep him there. But Aussie and Jose are still proven more above him. So next episode, we got first base, which
Yeah.
has a lot of good names once again.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure we'll probably put the same.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
Freddie Freeman.
So speaking of that first baseman, let's get on to our Cardinals talk here. We've only had one game since we last talked yesterday.
Really?
We caught the one at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. It was in the middle of the day.
Yeah. So
We
Cardinals-
lost.
yeah, Cardinals lost 7-5 last night to the Cubs.
Shouldn't have lost to the Cubs.
No, and I kind of
Well, I guess Liberator was pitching.
exactly
First time in Wrigley.
that's the reason why I was like a little iffy going into that one. I feel confident with the other ones.
Mhm.
But yeah, Libby pitching in Chicago is so different.
Mhm.
And I don't think he did poor. I put even that Libby struggled, but he gave up like 4 runs and 4 1/3 or something like that. It wasn't anything terrible, but we had a chance at the end. It was 5-3. In what's that in distance of coming to a win? You know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
The lead was in
Striking distance.
striking distance. There it is. But it was 5-3 going into the 8th, and then McFarland, who's really struggled, gave up a couple.
So Ollie was like, "Yeah, let's put him in this crucial
Yeah.
situation."
I think he's really he's pitched him a lot lately. One
Yeah.
game he pitched him like 3 innings, and he pitched like 60 pitches.
Well, the game that may have been the game me and Conlon went to on Saturday. Or no, he just came at the 9th inning and he gave up a 2-run home run. I was like, sick. And then after he finished the game, we were up like 6. He was like yelling like he just got the last strike or last out in the World Series. I'm like, okay, buddy.
yeah, he's again. I think we talked about him last episode. Tremendous last year,
Mhm.
along with Luis Garcia. Kind of a bunch of pickups we had. Lester and
Yeah.
Happ were great.
I'm
But-
not gonna say last year.
He's really struggled this year. McFarland has, and he gave up 2, and then of course in the 9th, Bader hits a 2-run homer, which would have
Yeah.
tied it.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough loss, but
Goldie extended his streak.
that's what I was going to get to. 24 now, and then
Yeah.
38 on base, 37, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And Arenado got another hit. He's put together like a 3 or 4 game hitting
Yeah.
streak. It's up to 280 now.
Yeah, he had just had 1 hit last night.
Yeah, 1 hit. They
I-
both had just 1
I
hit.
think he had 3 the day before against San
Yes.
Diego. So,
Donovan got another hit. He's batting over
and
300.
he's in the 5-hole now,
Yeah.
which he's not your prototypical 5-hole guy, but
But I think they're just like he puts in a play. Like
his on base percentage, I saw
it's
it.
442.
Yeah, it's
He
ridiculous.
he has a really good batting eye and he walks so much.
Mhm. What else here? We have Michaels going today. I think they just have another one of their no-name guys going.
Let me see.
If you can pull it up.
Fill the time, AJ. Fill.
I'm trying to think. I don't have anything else Cardinals wise. I have some stuff around the league.
Pujols, like he's batting. I'm looking at his like last game. He's batting 210, but he has a 327 on base.
It
which-
doesn't feel like 210 to me.
No, it doesn't. I feel like he's hit a lot of hard balls.
Yeah,
but
it's Michaelis and some no-name guy. Was Keegan Thompson last night? It might be Keegan Thompson today. I don't remember.
no, Keegan Thompson last night.
Okay,
He's 6-0. Dang.
Keegan is.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
All right, come on, computer. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I
Loading.
would talk about something else, but I have nothing else Cardinals wise.
Warman's back in the lineup after having a stiff back.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
good to see.
Marcus Stroman, so probably the best pitcher.
Okay. So not a no-name guy.
Are you serious? They give them a 52.6% chance of beating us? Okay, ESPN.
Yeah. I actually did have one
Pet
other.
peeve, ESPN's analytical people.
Oh, it's yeah. What'd you say about the NBA last time?
Yeah, they gave the Celtics an 89% chance to win, which they didn't win.
My last thing Cardinals wise is not in the majors, but it's in the minors. Mason Wynn is in Double A now. We mentioned that. Destroying Double A.
Really?
Batting 380. And I keep hearing and seeing like articles about how he has the strongest arm, not in our system, but like out of infielders coming up through.
He had like
system.
through like a routine play to short. Those like 97.
Yeah, and that probably has to do with he was pitching.
Yes,
so obviously,
but he's not doing that anymore, right?
No, just shortstop. And he's looking. The last couple of years, I thought Delvin Perez coming through might be that shortstop because we drafted him in the first round. Mason Wynn might be that guy that's our shortstop moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. But then it's like
we have so many people.
It's a good problem to have.
It is. The thing with that is like I'm waiting for somebody to like run with it.
Yeah.
And I think Gorman will hopefully do that. I think that's what the Cardinals hope is, that Gorman kind of runs away with that second base spot.
But if you're like a guy like Dylan Carlson who hasn't been hitting, you're like, you got to start hitting, or
I have not heard
someone's going to be taking your spot. Either if you want to put Jordan Walker in right, or Mason Wynn, I feel like is athletic. He could play anywhere.
Oh yeah. I have not heard any updates on Carlson on a rehab or anything. O'Neill's supposed to be on a rehab this weekend.
Yeah.
But I have not heard anything about Carlson. And
is Mason Wynn a right-handed or
righty, I believe. Yeah.
Is he hits for some power, doesn't he?
I think there's some power there, but the average is what's impressing me. And he's got great speed, great defense. Fast. So I think he'll be in AAA by the end of the year, and we could see him. We could
see him and Walker soon.
Yeah,
they're both he's a little older, but they both drafted the same year.
Yeah,
I think they're good friends too.
And I would say any people that are Cardinals fans that are local, take a trip down to Springfield. I want to do that.
Also, Flaherty's going to be having rehab assignments down there.
Yeah,
like next week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Flaherty should be back soon. That's going to help us.
And Moses Gomez, he is leading the minor leagues in home runs with 18.
Yeah,
he retook the lead.
His average fell off. He's like batting like 360 now.
Yeah.
But no, you said 18 home runs.
He's a righty too. So like, I wouldn't mind having him DH.
They did that thing where a bunch of people moved up in the system. I'm surprised he wasn't one of those names. When Newt Bar came up and Gorman, I'm surprised he didn't go up. Triple, because he's been dominant.
Maybe they should sing Newt Bar to AAA, or not AAA, Double A.
Yeah. Newt's been struggling. He's in the lineup again today. I think they're just giving him chances.
Yeah,
because you sent him down. I mentioned the last time, and it's a 3-homer game. So we're getting to a lot of guys like Burleson where they're kind of maxing out the AAA thing. Where that's where I think a trade will happen with one of these guys.
Like I think you have to. Like we have so many players, and to get some of these younger guys playing time, or just have spots open so they're not just wasting away their potential to go for a starting pitcher or reliever to help us.
But I do like the status of where we're at right now.
I really think we're fine with position players.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually like for once confident. Like there was a couple years ago where our minors were not looking too great. Like I don't think we have a ton of.
We've always been pitching heavy.
Yeah.
And now it's opposite where we don't have very.
Yeah. It's always like once in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like Oscar Taveras when he came.
Yeah.
Or so besides that, it was Nolan Gorman or Dylan Carlson.
Yeah. In almost any system, Gorman would be the top prospect, but Jordan Walker is the real deal.
He is legit.
Some other news really quickly around the league. The Phillies this morning, actually fired Joe Girardi from his position. The Phillies have really underperformed. So
that plus 12 the last 15.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So it shouldn't be a shock to anybody. Girardi's had success though, especially with the Yankees. So it's one of those guys that I think a lot of teams would be like happy to have.
I thought at one point the Cardinals were going to try to go for him.
I think we were in talks about it.
Yeah.
And then my other thing from around the league is I don't have the stats pulled up recently, but Sandy Alcantara.
I was looking at it.
Ridiculous.
He's pitched like one of the highest innings per highest innings so far for starting pitchers. Has like a 1.81 ERA.
Yeah.
He's like top 10 in strikeouts. I'm like, he legit win the Cy Young.
Oh yeah. He's
His
probably
whip's under 1.
he's probably my favorite to win it right now. And his last, I don't have it pulled up, but I remember from last night looking at it. His last 3 starts, he's pitched or until last night, he had pitched at least 8 innings in all 3 of them.
That's
And then
great.
last night he pitched 7 shutout innings and had struck out 8. The start before that, he had 8 innings, 14 strikeouts. Dominant stuff, and a guy that, oh man, if we had him right now.
Yes. We traded him for Ozuna.
Yeah. And there's another name that was thrown in there too. I don't know if it was that trade we talked about a few weeks ago. Zach Gallen.
Mhm.
We traded him off. He's in Arizona now. He's got like a 180 ERA also.
Really?
So he's another Cy Young candidate. So
Oh, we got Goldie for that. So I'm fine with that.
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, Sandy has been absolutely ridiculously good. And I expect it to
leading in
continue.
innings. Jesus. 1.18 or 1.81. How many strikeouts does he have? 71 strikeouts. So a little less than strikeout, like 9 strikeouts per game.
What are the strikeouts compared to the rest of the league? Is that up there?
Let me find leaders. Oh my god. MLB pitching leaders.
He's got to be up there.
He's up there and everything. He's leading for WAR and pitching. Earned run average, he is 4th. Wins, he's tied for 1st.
Yeah.
Strikeouts per 9 innings. He's not on that.
Okay.
Where's your strikeouts?
Because I have him on fantasy, and I'm playing you this week, and
He's
you're
7th
absolutely
in strikeouts.
7th.
7, yeah. And Frankie Montes is 7th with 71.
Future Cardinal.
Yeah.
But no, Sandy, I have Sandy on fantasy, and you're murdering me this week in
That's what I do.
fantasy. And
I haven't looked at it once.
Sandy's like keeping me afloat a little bit. He's getting me like 30 points per start. But I did have 2 matchups to watch this weekend. Both are kind of, I guess, unorthodox. I have the Angels versus the Phillies on Saturday afternoon, I believe it is. Michael Lorenzon versus Zach Wheeler. Lorenzon's been pitching very well as a starter for the first time in his career, and Zach Wheeler is a top-notch.
Yeah, I was going to
pitcher.
say he was always a reliever, Lorenzon.
Yeah, or shoot center field a
Yeah,
couple
left
times.
field.
Yeah. And then my other
DH.
matchup is on Sunday afternoon. The Mariners play the Rangers. Both teams have underperformed, I would say. I guess the Rangers have kind of been playing better lately.
Rangers are like around 500.
They started off like 2-8 or something like that, but they're about 500 now. Mariners have really underperformed. But they have their top prospect, George Kirby, going, who's pitched really well so far. And then Martin Perez is how you say it.
Yeah, he's old. Should we trade for him too?
He's got a 1.42 ERA
He's 31, so it's not like he's a young.
and a lefty.
If I was Texas, I'd trade him.
Yeah. Unless they, because now that I think a lot of teams have hope because they're 3 wild cards now.
Yeah, true.
That I think a lot of teams are like, oh, if we're around 500,
Which that's also, I think, a good thing is more teams are competing.
yeah, they don't tank.
Yeah.
And I think that's what pretty much every sport has really been focusing on is like, how do they get teams to stop from tanking?
Like the Rangers are 24 and 26, and the Angels have dropped off, and the Angels are only
Yeah.
2 games above 500, and the Rangers are 2 games below, and they're
Angels have lost 7 straight.
they're only 2 games back from the Angels, which is kind of crazy.
I pointed out that game to watch because
They've lost 8 in a row.
8, yeah. So I watched their game yesterday against the Yankees, and Ohtani struggled pitching. And Trout's in like a slump right now. And I didn't see Rendon playing yesterday, but
Trout's in a slump, but still hitting.
yeah, exactly.
The Trout slump's still like he's still the best player.
Oh, yeah. I pointed out that Angels Phillies game because their pitching has really struggled, and they get a chance against a Phillies team that's really like sputtering right now.
Yeah.
So it could be a chance to get back on track because me and Conlon all had high hopes for the Angels.
Yeah. Also, the Blue Jays have won 8 straight.
Yeah, I watched their game yesterday too, and they looked very good.
It's crazy.
Do you have anything else baseball wise? We can move on to the NHL. There's 4 teams left, 2 series happening right now in the conference finals. Let's start in the East. The Rangers upset the Lightning in game 1 in New York, 6-2. Game 2 is tonight. I expect the Lightning to bounce back.
Yeah, they haven't won. He hasn't lost it back to
No,
back.
Vasilevsky doesn't lose back-to-back games.
So
And
yeah, it's guaranteed win. Like,
yeah. I also have two takeaways because I wasn't able to watch it. I got to see highlights and like articles about it, and I read a little bit on it. And two things I take away is for Lightning fans, don't panic because they've been here before.
You're the best goalie in the world.
Exactly. And the first two are in New York. You steal one out of there. I think that's always the hope as like the away team.
Yeah, you just steal one.
Steal one and then come back home. And I think they do that tonight anyway. My other takeaway for the Rangers side is I mentioned last episode that they came back from 3-1 against the Penguins. They won an improbable game 7 against Carolina. And then they win game 1. I mean, you have to be confident if you're a Rangers fan. Sure. And I even put like a little question mark here. Is it the Rangers' time? It's kind of like the Blues where nobody kind of expected us, and then we just kept going and kept going. And I saw a guy talking about.
Don't they have
Shesterkin, yeah, and he's probably second best goalie. Yeah. So, I would say, or I saw a guy talking about how he's a Rangers fan, and he's talking about how much he appreciates deep playoff runs now that his team is in one. And he's like, there's nothing greater than waking up after you win a clinching game, knowing that you at least play 4 more games. Yeah. And I literally related to that so well. But yeah, I think the Lightning win tonight, and I think they win the series still. But if you're the Rangers, you have to be confident in what you got going.
For sure.
In the West, in game 2, the Avalanche dominated the Oilers, sadly. And then a couple takeaways I had from that. I didn't get to watch that one either. I watched game 1, that 8-6 game, but everything I read, the Oilers came out flat, and that's been something they've really kind of surprisingly just done a few times in the postseason, where they just come out with no energy and then it's too late. You can't do that this time of year. And I would say Oilers fans don't panic because you do have 3 and 4 at home. Yeah, but you need to have that urgency right off the bat.
You got to win. These are 2 must-win games.
Yeah, definitely. So I think they at least win game 3. I don't know about game 4. I personally, when I was watching the Calgary Oilers series, and when I was watching the Blues Avs series, I think I talked about on here how I think Avs or Blues would beat Calgary or the Oilers in 5. Yeah. And I think we all picked Calgary to win it all against Florida. So. But no, I think the Oilers do win game 3, and that's tomorrow night, I believe. So they need their superstars to come up big, and they need better goaltending too.
Yeah. The Avalanche are just so quick on the breaks after watching the Blues series. And they just seem like they pass it good. I don't know.
They're so crisp.
If like the Blues just suck at passing or what, but I felt like we could not make a pass, and they're like in our face all the time. Yeah,
they're so fast, and it seems like they never get tired. They're extremely well conditioned, so definitely up there in the top 2 favorites to win it all. So even going into the postseason, not just now, but I'm still cheering for the Oilers. They need a big night from McDavid or Draisaitl tomorrow night. Or is that tonight? Tonight game? No, tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow. But we can move on to the NBA. Game 1 just wrapped up last night. The Celtics surprised the Warriors. Were you surprised that they won that game 1?
I was surprised. I was surprised by how big they won the game. Like how big of a margin. I know they came back in the 4th.
Yeah, because it was close all the way.
I was very surprised. I thought the Warriors would take care of it at home.
What I'm surprised with is that Tatum was 3 for 17 with 12 points, and they still won.
He had 13 assists.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then what you want to talk about that Draymond?
Yeah, Draymond was in his press conference. He was saying how I think it was Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Derek White. They went 15 for 23 shooting. He's like
from 3, yeah.
He's like, was it all from 3-pointer?
Those were just 3s.
Really? Oh, dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, not. He was like shrugging off like, oh, that's no big deal. Like it's just those guys. They won't do it again. But then I'm like, Jason Tatum was 3 for 17. That doesn't happen. And I just hate Draymond Green. He's so just hate him.
Yeah.
And I just hope that I don't want the Celtics just to sweep them just because of Draymond. I love Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but just because of Draymond, I just don't want the Warriors to win.
Al Horford had one of those games again, though. One of those weird games where he dropped 26 on 6 of 8 threes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Because he had one in – what series was that? It might have been the Heat series.
Yeah.
He dropped 35 or something one
Or
night.
the Bucks game. It was the
I think
Bucks.
it was the Bucks. Yeah. He dropped like 35 one night randomly. And no disrespect to Horford. He's proven himself and he's a great player, but he's not like that.
Best trade acquisition in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Horford.
Yeah, he's been really good. And for the Warriors side, I would say Curry was great at 34. But I would say you need, because it was a 12-point game, but until the end, it was very close. And you need Thompson or Jordan Poole, just one of them. Because Thompson had like 15, but he wasn't very efficient. I think Jordan Poole, who's been a great piece for them, had 9 points.
Wiggins.
I think Wiggins had 20, but it wasn't very efficient. What I'm worried about, if Horford, let's say, does this again and Tatum gets it going.
Celtics just have these guys who they can kind of go off, like Grant Williams. He could drain a bunch of threes, or
the energy guys,
Derek White or Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, Smart brings energy. Yeah,
Robert Williams, like he just high percentage because he just dunks it.
You look at those names though, and you don't think it's like, if I just looked at names alone, no stats, I would think the Warriors would blow them out.
Yeah, for sure.
But they just have those guys, and it's a really well coached Udoka. And I picked the Heat to win because of coaching, and Udoka did a tremendous job coaching to get them through that series. But do you think they bounce back in game 2, the Warriors?
Maybe.
I would think so at home.
But at the same time, they lost to the Celtics when Jason Tatum didn't play good, and their best player played amazing.
Yeah.
So
I know how that is though.
Maybe ESPN analytics are right.
I remember like it was yesterday, man. That game 1, 2018 with LeBron.
Oh God.
He had 51, 8 and 8, and then the J.R. Smith thing happened, and they lost. And that's kind of how I feel with the Curry thing, where he played so great, but they still lost, and it's just like kind of demoralizing. But at the same time, the Warriors have been here so often, and they've dealt with this before, that I think they do bounce back and win game 2.
Agree. I think they'll. I still think it's going game 7. Games.
I think so too. And I will say,
if not, Adam Silver will make it go 7.
Exactly.
He'll put in Scott Foster. And he'll get the job.
I will say that it's kind of like what we said, I think, with the Rangers Lightning series, where your goal is the away team to at least steal 1, and they did that already. So if they can win game 2, they have the insane advantage. So I think the Warriors will come out with that must-win mentality, and I think they do win game 2. So let's get on to our next NFL team. Sadly, I guess, the Atlanta Falcons. I have the Atlanta Falcons at 5-12 for the season. What about you?
I had them at 3 or 4 wins.
Wow. Yeah.
Their schedule's hard.
It's bad. Let
me find it. They start out playing the Saints. They won't win that. Then they play the Rams. Then they play the really good Seattle Seahawks. Then they play the Browns. And if Deshaun Watson is playing, they will lose. If he is suspended, they may win. Buccaneers lose. 49ers lose. Bengals lose. So they play like – those were all playoff – the Browns were in a playoff team last year, were they? Yeah. So they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playoff teams in 6 weeks. And then they play the Panthers, which I have them winning. I have them splitting with the Panthers. They play the Chargers, going to lose. They play the Bears. I think I gave them the Bears because the Bears
I did too.
Will like screw up. Then they play the Commanders, who's like decent, solid. They play the Steelers, which I gave them beating the Steelers because I remembered they don't.
It's in Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah.
That helps.
And they play the Saints, the Ravens, the Cardinals, and the Bucks. So they have a hard schedule.
So if you give them 4 wins, it makes sense because, and we agree, because I have them splitting with the Saints.
Okay.
Because they always play well. It seems like those games are close. So I have them winning one of those. But I marked down tough schedule, like you just said. That I don't know where that ranks in the like schedule. It seems like a terrible schedule.
I agree.
But you're really high on Marcus Mariota. Do you think he's going to play well?
I'm really excited to watch him play. I think he'll have a bounce back year. I think he'll be really good. I think he'll exceed expectations. Like I know you hate him, even though he was Eisner winner and super good.
Yeah.
But I think he'll get back to form, and I think just some time off with the Raiders, just like I don't know if really learning with Derek Carr, but kind of I guess he's kind of was a mentor to Derek Carr. I don't know if they're the same age.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think Marcus Mariota is one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. I think he's really smart. He's super athletic, and he's only 28, or he's 28. Yeah, he's 28. He'll turn 29 in October, so he's still young. I think he'll have a revival. And this Falcons, like their defense is going to suck, but I really think the Falcons offense could be pretty good because they drafted Drake London, who had some crazy games with USC. He had like 15 catches in a couple games. Kyle Pitts, stud.
Yeah.
And Cordell Patterson, who's just put him anywhere. He could be like the center and
yeah. Yeah.
So I think they'll be good. I think they'll be like up and down fast. And except it'd be nice if they had Calvin Ridley, but he's gone forever or just for the season.
I'm cheering for Mariota because I think he kind of got bounced out of his spot. What, in Tennessee, and then in Oakland, obviously he wasn't going to start over Carr. So I'm cheering for him, and he's got. I was going to say he has like, because they don't have high expectations. I would say.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I think he has like room to make mistakes, but they did draft Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
And he's like, right. It's Desmond Ridder, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think Mariota has that leeway to kind of, if he, let's say Mariota in the first 5 games, they start terribly 0-4 or 0-5, 1-4, and he plays terribly. You might just say Desmond Ridder, give him a chance.
But I really don't know if Desmond Ridder is going to be amazing.
I don't know either.
If I was him, I'd have him wait the whole year because, like, he was good. But at the same time, you're in Cincinnati and you're playing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he was great in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Like you were against Alabama, which is probably very similar to NFL. Like everyone on their team gets drafted. But I think he'll play good. He had in 2016, he had 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So he's capable of doing it. I think I don't know what was going on in Tennessee. I just think he needs to take some more chances sometimes. Don't be scared. I know at one point he had, for like a couple of seasons, he'd never thrown an interception in the red zone, which is really good. But I hope he plays good.
I personally think he's going to play really well. I think the reason I have them at such a poor record is their defense was ranked 29th in football last year. And I think you were mentioning how off air that they got some pieces in the draft defensively, but I still don't think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, they got a edge, a defensive end, a linebacker, another defense edge guy, and then that was it. And
you're in a division with the Saints, who we project 10, or I think we said 9-8 last episode.
They're going to be good, solid.
And the Buccaneers will be a Super Bowl contender.
It's Tom Brady.
Yeah, and then the Panthers will probably be poor too, and we'll have the Panthers next. Panthers or Bucks, I guess we'll figure out who, but. I think they could. I have them at 5-12 because I have them stealing one from New Orleans. But let's say New Orleans really struggles, or Jameis gets hurt or something. They have Simeon or Hill at quarterback. They could win both.
Yeah, they could win both against the Panthers too.
Yeah, and they could split with the Bucks or something. They could be 7-10 instead. But I think you said 4-13.
Yeah,
you're going to give them the benefit.
Yeah, give them the benefit.
And I'll go 5-12, but
it's going to be weird though not seeing Matt Ryan in the Falcons uniform.
Oh yeah, it's going to be more weird seeing Matt Ryan in a Colts uniform.
Yes, it's going to be weird seeing him just give up, just get sacked so easily in the blue and white.
Yeah, and then my final analysis for them, and I even put here, sorry to any Falcons fans listening, but your team is definitely rebuilding, and that tough schedule doesn't help anything. So
that's not too. At least they're rebuilding. They got some exciting guys to watch.
Oh yeah,
Fitz, London.
I think Mariota's will be exciting.
Oh yeah.
So, who you want to do next? Panthers.
We can do Panthers. We can save the best for last.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So we'll do Panthers next episode, which will be early next week sometime.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple games in the NHL to cover. We'll have NBA finals, probably game 2, maybe even game 3.
Yeah, Cardinals series against the Cubs.
Yeah, it's an odd, rare 5-game series because of that doubleheader.
Hopefully we win the next 4.
Yeah.
We should.
Yep. We'll have our top 10 first baseman as well.
Yep.
Um,
Conlon should be back.
he should
maybe.
be. Yeah.
We'll see.
He'll be back sometime next week.
He's been killing some fish in Louisiana.
Yeah, he's been busy.
He's been doing God's work.
But
And also, he was illegally feeding alligators, or his brother was.
his brother was, yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, he looks like he's having a good time though. So he'll be back sometime next week, if not early in the week, the other episode that comes out. But until then, I guess we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
I got it that time.